What's up, guys? Coming to you today with opening week NBA action here on Wednesday, October 22nd. We have a huge slate of games to break down. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under, and look at a bunch of player props, and I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, a few ups, a few downs. Overall, a nice day, though. 4-2 overall. We did get both sides right. We started things off, well, I guess not really started things off, but we had the Warriors at -2, a very solid 119-109 win there for Golden State. I'm not sure yet if this game makes me think the Warriors are very good or that the Lakers might be very bad, but either way, we come away with a pretty comfortable win. We did have Chet Holmgren under 16.5 points. That one looks hilarious now because Chet went absolute nuts in this game, shooting the lights out, carrying the Thunder in the first half. He was shooting from the perimeter and getting the basket. A very impressive performance from him. Although, that does end up coming in a very, very close game down the stretch. We had Hartenstein under 14.5 points plus assists at -130. A 6-point game with 5 assists also means that we cashed that one as well. Even though this was a double overtime game, getting an underplay to still win, kind of crazy. Hartenstein didn't necessarily play terrible in this game, but just not the role the Thunder needed from him to create a lot or to score a lot in this one. And when Chet is playing as well as he did, that role shrinks even more. We easily cashed Kuminga over 1.5 assists at -150. Absolute monster night from him as he put up a gaudy stat line, getting 2 assists very early on. His attempts to bet on himself look very worthwhile in this game as he appears to be a solid third scoring option there for the Warriors, looking like one of their better players in this game, if we're being completely honest. We also had the Rockets at +7.5 as our dog of the day. Absolutely insane that the Rockets end up losing this game after controlling things comfortably through basically the entire first 3.5 quarters. KD seemed unable or unwilling to go against Dort, and despite a monster there from Sengun and everything you could possibly ask for from guys like Jabari Smith Jr. and Amen Thompson, the Rockets take the 1-point loss, but we cashed our bet, so I guess we don't have to be too upset about that. Unfortunately, our massive lock of the day was Caruso over 2.5 rebounds at -154, and he, super annoying to see an entire regulation game plus 2 overtimes in 30 minutes from Caruso go by, and he only ends with 2 rebounds. Almost got us the lucky win, caught it right after the buzzer though, so yeah, pretty annoying to break the lock of the day. But going 4-2 overall, cashing both sides that we took. Very, very good stuff. We got to hustle, though, guys. We got to dive in here. We've got a ton of games here to cover on a very busy Wednesday, kind of the first full NBA slate. So we're going to go ahead and get after it. First game we're going to be looking at is the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the New York Knicks. The Cavaliers come into this season hoping to improve on what they were able to do last year in the playoffs. Obviously, this is a team that has probably way more focused on what's going to happen in the playoffs than they're going to be focused on the regular season. But in the East, if you're a really good team like the Cavaliers are, you're going to win an awful lot of games. They only went 1-3 in the preseason. Obviously, not something they're going to care a ton about. The focus was coming into this season healthy, and everything is looking relatively okay. Darius Garland with that toe issue seems like he is potentially going to be ready to go here. It seems like it's not 1,000% for sure, but it seems relatively likely, even if he does miss a few games here to start the regular season, that he should be back sooner rather than later. DeAndre Hunter dealing with that knee issue. He is officially questionable for this game. So very cool to see questionable designations going into game 1 of the NBA season. Not annoying at all. Sounds like he is truly in jeopardy of missing this one due to a right knee contusion, though, so we'll see. He did play 3-3 there on Tuesday, so sounds like there's actually a chance that he could end up playing in this one. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. Everybody else for Cleveland is ready to go for this one. Donovan Mitchell rested, ready to go. Evan Mobley poised for a big season, and Jarrett Allen also poised for a big season. The big acquisition in the offseason for this team was bringing in Lonzo Ball. We'll see if that can make a nice difference. He's been looking really good in the preseason, so I think that could be a very nice piece for them to bring off the bench, or for them to potentially start there when Garland's out. The question is, how many minutes can Lonzo Ball really soak up? Having Sam Merrill and Dean Wade coming off the bench seems fine. Larry Nance Jr. off the bench all seems fine. So we'll see what they can do here. Going on the road to take on the New York Knicks, we're getting an awful lot of hype coming into this season. They go 4-1 in the preseason, looking very, very good. Obviously, a big coaching change there, bringing in Mike Woodson. We'll see what the impact of that is here right off the bat. I think we're going to see him play a lot more players and play a lot of key pieces, a lot less minutes. I know that's not a major news flash in terms of the injury situation for them here at the start of the season. Some interesting things to look at. First up, OG Anunoby with his ankle issue is probable to play in this game. So we're going to go ahead and pencil him in as he's going to be in there. Karl-Anthony Towns with a quadricep issue. He is also questionable for this game, so we'll see if he's going to play. I would assume that even with that slight strain, he probably will play in this game, but it does seem very up in the air, and Yabusele could soak up a lot more minutes if either Cat doesn't play in this game or is limited in this game in terms of the minutes load to let him play. Mitchell Robinson, load management here for game one, will not be playing in the season opener. Obviously, this is somebody they want to save for the playoffs, so, resting him here in the regular season as much as they can get away with, definitely something they'll be doing. Josh Hart dealing with that weird back issue. He is officially ruled out for this game as well. That was a super weird preseason play where he goes down. Very hard to figure out what was actually wrong with him. Turned out it was a back issue, and yeah, he's not going to be playing here in game one. So a lot of injury problems for the Knicks here right out of the gates in game one. So I think we're going to see a lot of minutes there for guys like Yabusele. Jordan Clarkson's going to soak up some minutes for sure. Mikal Bridges is going to have to take some pretty big responsibilities there defensively. I think we could see, even some weird minutes from some weird guys you wouldn't necessarily expect. So we'll see what happens in this one, guys. The injury news there is very, very concerning for the Knicks, and that's why they're getting a 1.5 here at home. We've got a total of 226.5 in this game. Cleveland, 29-16 against the spread on the road last year. There was an NBA best mark against the spread on the road, 28-17 to the over on the road. The Knicks, 25-24-1 against the spread at home, and a 500 over-under team at home. Guys, we are definitely going to be slamming it here on the Cavaliers -1.5. These injury problems for the Knicks are a big, big concern. They don't really have crazy depth to deal with this. The Cavaliers are far more healthy coming into this game. I don't care if Garland is out. Donovan Mitchell, healthy and ready to go. You think Jalen Brunson's going to slow him down? Maybe Mikal Bridges will, but I think they're going to find a way to put up plenty of offense in this game and come with a comfortable win and cover for us, despite the fact they're playing on the road. Now, in terms of some player props for this game, there are a couple that jump out to me pretty aggressively. And first up, I'll take Jarrett Allen here over 9.5 rebounds at -128. He's been over this number in 5 out of his last 6 games, and in a game where the Knicks are going to be missing their starting center, I think he's fine to get to double-digit rebounds despite playing on the road. I also like Mikal Bridges here over 15.5 points at -115. The offense should be much different here under Mike Woodson, and while I think the Cavaliers are going to be a very good team out there in the East, I'm not going to be looking to them to be great defensively at all, so definitely like Bridges over on points. Next up, guys, we're going to be looking at the Brooklyn Nets going on the road here to take on the Charlotte Hornets. The Nets come into this game, 2-2 in the preseason if you count that non-NBA game they had, so I guess 1-2 overall. A team with very low expectations coming into this season. Obviously, nobody super stoked about what is going to happen there for Brooklyn. They're going to be a team that could maybe make some trades, but if they do, those are going to be trades to get worse. This is very likely to be a tanking season here for the Brooklyn Nets. The big acquisition in the offseason for the Brooklyn Nets was bringing in Michael Porter Jr. I guess maybe you could count Terrence Mann in there. Cam Thomas having some, not super happy-go-lucky times there with some contract negotiations, so none of that is exactly a great sign. Got plenty of young guys that are going to see some run out there. They do have a lot of talent on this team, but Cam Thomas, Terrence Mann, Michael Porter Jr., and Nick Claxton, that's not exactly a core that I think is going to go absolutely nuts this season. So we'll see what they're actually able to do out there. Game one shouldn't be too much of a test for them, and they do come into the start of the regular season healthy, so that is a big plus. Michael Porter Jr. trying to take on a bigger role. He's somebody with a pretty messed up back, guys. We will see how he holds up throughout the season. Now, they're starting off the year going on the road to take on the Charlotte Hornets. They are a very, widely talked about, widely hyped up, a lot of very interesting players on this roster. They went 2-3 in the preseason, and coming into this year, guys, I'm not going to say it's a put up or shut up year for some of these guys, but LaMelo Ball, a lot of talk going on about how he's just a good stats, bad team guy that also can't stay healthy. So we'll see how many games he's able to play this season. Brandon Miller, obviously a very skilled guy that's also dealt with some injuries. Bringing Concanupple, that could be a big, big deal for this team. We'll see. We'll see how things go for him this year. He looks really, really good in the preseason, so that is a step in the right direction. We'll see what Miles Bridges can do out there. Obviously, I don't know if I would say veteran, but close to a veteran. Colin Sexton, Trey Mann coming off the bench, 2 very, very solid bench pieces there. Ryan Kalkbrenner, we'll see what he can do in the NBA. That'll be interesting. Now, Josh Green and Grant Williams, both also on this team, likely to be key, bench parts of the squad, but Josh Green officially out for this game with that shoulder issue, and Grant Williams with that knee issue is officially ruled out as well. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the odds makers are clearly very low on the Brooklyn Nets coming into the season. The Hornets are 5-point favorites at home in this game. We've got a total of 228.5. Brooklyn 25-15-1 against the spread on the road, second best against the spread record on the road in the NBA last year, 24-17 to the under on the road. The Hornets 19-21-1 against the spread at home, 27-14 to the under at home. That was actually an NBA best to the under at home. So given last season's trend, you would think we want to go towards the under in this one, but I definitely like the over here much better than like the under. I think we're going to see plenty of offense from these two teams in very, very, very little defense. So definitely give me a good hard look at over 228.5 in this one. In terms of a side, I will be looking a bit towards the Hornets here at -5. I'm pretty hyped about this roster in general, but with all the scoring that the Nets have and it being the first game of the season, we're seeing some pretty competitive games here right out of the gate. So I'm probably going to stay away from the side a little bit in this one and be leaning more towards that over. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily NBA, MLB, NHL, UFC, NFL, and college football picks. It's an absolutely loaded time to be part of StumpTheSpread.com. There's so much going on in the sports world. This is one of the best times to get in the mix over there. Also, our NHL picks, which are coming off a rough day, are still running extremely, extremely hot. Our NHL picks are currently, over the last 6 days, 16-5. Absolutely bonkers level stuff. You certainly want to get in on that. Clearly, our NHL guy is seeing the puck really, really well here in the early goings this season. You also want to get over to StumpTheSpread.com, where you'll find exclusive free picks that are only posted there. That's also where you'll find our free to use bet size calculator. And maybe most importantly, if you're looking for free stuff, that's where you can get on that free email newsletter, guys. It's absolutely free. All you do is click the link in the description, go over to StumpTheSpread.com, click that little green login button, and set up a free account. All they'll ask for is your name and your email address. That is it. You'll get one email straight to your inbox every single day. It'll have at least one free pick in it, oftentimes 2 or 3 free picks. Information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, stuff like that. Parlays will be included in those as well. Player props will be included in those emails as well. And touchdown props for NFL every single week. We hit a big, I think it was a plus 500 touchdown prop last week from the newsletter. So you definitely want to get on that email newsletter, guys. It's a fantastic resource every single day. And once you're signed up, it's zero effort. You just open your phone in the morning. That email is going to be on there if you get up anytime normal, and you'll have that information right at your fingertips. Also, you want to get over to StumpTheSpread.com. That's where you can find all of our premium top confidence picks, which might not and usually will not always match what you see from me here in the videos. We have a team of experts, and they are coming off of a little bit of a down day, which we went 5-0 on the 20th. Let's keep that in mind. A 5-0 winning day, 5 right, 0 wrong. Absolutely crazy stuff over there for their premium members. Now, on the 21st, we ran into a bit of bad luck. Now, a tough play there on Louisiana Tech. They just could not get the job done there on the college football side. We did hit the Golden State Warriors. That was a nice little win at -2, starting things off very, very small unit numbers there in the NBA as we gather data on what these teams are actually going to be doing. We did brick our Al Horford, player prop. That was pretty unfortunate. He only made 2 field goals in that game. Had plenty of chances to make another one. Went 2 for 7 from the field, I believe. Also passed up a couple wide open layups. That was really, really weird. We had SGA under 31.5 points. That was one of the worst beats you could possibly imagine. The game goes into double overtime, and he still barely gets over that number. In regulation, he would have been under that number pretty comfortably. So yeah, that was unfortunate. And our hockey guy did take a bit of a step back, giving a few units back. Bricked the Canucks, bricked the Blues, also bricked the Maple Leafs, but cast the San Jose Sharks plus 1.5 as a 1-unit play. So not our best day, obviously, over there on the premium side, but we've been coming off such a hot run, guys. You can see all these picks on the screen. Like, it's been running very, very hot over there for quite some time, especially the NHL, guys. The NHL stuff has been absolutely bonkers since from the 16th until today. Today's our first kind of bad day there on the NHL side. So definitely want to get over there and get in on those premium picks. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, you can sign up for a YouTube channel membership by clicking that little join button right below the video. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos. You get the name on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, get access to our members only giveaways. We give away a Stump the Spread hoodie here every single week to one random channel member. We put everybody's name in a big wheel. We spin that wheel, and whoever it lands on gets a free Stump the Spread hoodie of their size delivered straight to their address of choice. So definitely, guys, want to get in on that. Our last giveaway was on the 20th. Our next giveaway is going to be on the 27th. So definitely get in on that if you're interested, guys. But we got to go ahead and dive back in. We've got a ton of NBA to cover today. We're very excited to be diving into the season here for real. And next up, we're going to look at the Miami Heat as they go on the road to take on the Orlando Magic. The Heat, not really a team that got talked about a ton this season. Didn't have a good preseason, going 0-6 overall. Obviously, your record in the preseason doesn't matter, but that is a little bit of a concern. They come into this year definitely with some injury concerns. Obviously, we're not going to be seeing Tyler Hero here for a minute. Davion Mitchell was looking really good in a bunch of offseason workouts and stuff like that. He was balling there at Rico Hines, so we'll see if he can have a good season here. He's going to be running the show a little bit. Bring in Norman Powell, a big deal for this team. Definitely some much needed scoring punch. We're looking for an interesting season here. We'll see what they actually get from Andrew Wiggins. Getting a little bit old. We'll see what he can produce. Bam, looking to have a little bit of a bounce back season after a bit of a rough year last year. And maybe most excitingly here, Kel'el Ware. This dude looks like he can do absolutely anything out there. The problem is he's questionable coming into this game with neck problems and an ankle problem. So he is officially questionable. We'll see if he's actually able to play. He was initially listed as probable. He has now been downgraded after an ankle injury in Tuesday's practice. So whether or not he even plays, I am a little bit worried about how he's going to look in this one. And we also are a little bit worried about the Heat in general. Now, Nikola Jovic, we'll see what he looks like. Jaime Jaquez Jr. looking for a bit of a bounce back season as well. This is a team, will go deep on their bench if they feel like they should. We'll see how things work out here for the Heat in game one as they're going on the road to take on the Orlando Magic. Now, the Magic had a fantastic preseason, going 4-0 in the games that did not count, including 2 wins over the Heat. One was a blowout, one was fairly competitive. We'll see what they can do coming into this season. Now, a big year here for the Orlando Magic. Made one of the biggest offseason acquisitions, bringing in Desmond Bane. He seems like the perfect fit for this team, somebody who will play defense. How great of a defender he can be, maybe that's a little bit up in the air, but he can be a great and is a great shooter. So that's a huge need that this team had in the offseason. So bringing him in is huge. If Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero can continue to mature and just become better and better players, like Banchero could end up being one of the best players in the NBA someday. I don't think that's crazy. He just doesn't get a lot of hype about that because the Orlando Magic, not really the biggest market. Wendell Carter Jr., that'll be a solid center option. We'll see them get Mo Wagner back at some point this season. The bench doesn't look amazing to me. Tyus Jones, Jace Richardson, Tristan Da Silva, Jonathan Isaac, not exactly an amazing bench unit. And the big health concern for the Magic right now is Jalen Suggs. His knee issue has him questionable here for opening night. Really not a lot of clarity on whether or not he's going to play. He's been able to do 5-on-5 full contact drills in practice. Still seems like it's up in the air whether or not he's going to be able to play here on opening night. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, the Magic are 8-point favorites. We've got a total of 217.5. Miami 19-24 and 1 against the spread on the road. A 500 over and under team on the road last season. Orlando 23-20 and 1 against the spread at home, and 27-17 to the under at home last year. Now, looking at the numbers for this game, guys, I'm going to be leaning a bit towards the Magic here at -8. I know it is like the opening game of the season, and maybe the Heat will be a little bit juiced up, but if Kel'el Ware cannot play in this game, that is a huge problem. You're going to basically have Norman Powell out there trying to score enough points to win an NBA game by himself. Don't really feel like that's where he's at. So I will be taking the Magic here at -8. You could also look at them on the money line if you wanted something that is going to be a huge favorite. But I do think the Magic here at -8 is a pretty solid play. In terms of the total, I'm not expecting a crazy amount of offense from these two teams, so you could maybe look at under 217.5. But my main lean is going to be the Magic there at -8. Rolling along here, guys, we got a very interesting game. We've got the Toronto Raptors going on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. The Raptors ended up going 4-2 in the preseason. Not that that is all that meaningful, but this is going to be a very interesting team this year. Last year, they were clearly tanking, holding guys out that probably could have played, or just, picking up these guys that could theoretically get healthy. And now they've got a pretty scary looking starting five. They got Emmanuel Quickley, big contract, a lot to live up for him. We'll see if he's up to the task of running an NBA level offense. And also, you got to be something of a distributor here. We'll see how that goes. RJ Barrett poised for another big season. Liked what we saw from him last year. Brandon Ingram coming in and getting paid an awful lot of money for what he's done so far in his career. A lot of potential. We'll see what he can actually do out there, but he is a player that has an incredible amount of talent, an incredible amount of length. Could definitely give teams a lot of issues. Scotty Barnes, there was a lot of hype before last season about how he could potentially be one of the best players in the NBA. Well, he's coming off kind of a stinker of a season on kind of a stinker of a team. This is a big get-back spot for him. Jakob Poeltl, we saw a lot of good stuff from him at times last year, so another guy that could be poised for a breakout season. This team also has a decent bench. Bringing Grady Dick off the bench now could be very, very interesting, and just a lot of solid rotation and possible players there coming off of the pine. So we'll see how things look for this squad down the stretch this season, but I'm pretty interested by this team. Another team that I'm very interested coming off an interesting and very, very busy offseason is the Atlanta Hawks. They went 2-2 in the preseason, and they're fully healthy coming into this year, and that could be a big deal. We've got Trae Young at the helm. He's been making a lot of waves in the offseason. I loved how he went back at Pat Bev. That was very, very cool. He's been putting up amazing numbers his entire career. Dyson Daniels, a defensive wizard. That is a huge deal for he got paid, and I'm expecting another good season from him. Zachary Richeche, I'm expecting another good year from him. Didn't get talked about much last year and was one of the best rookies. Just did exactly what they needed him to do. Jalen Johnson's back and healthy. That's a huge deal. He could be poised for a massive, massive breakout season. Porzingis, that's a big question mark for me. We'll see what Porzingis is actually able to do out there, but definitely a piece that, if healthy, can be pivotal for this team. You got Luke Kennard coming off the bench. That's a huge deal. A very solid shooter, a very solid bench piece. You've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker now on this team, a very important offseason pickup there. He is kind of do-it-all guard. Like, he could handle the ball, he can shoot, like, he can do everything you need him to do, and he's a pretty good defender as well. Just a lot of very, very nice pieces on this team. We'll see what they can do this season, and they come into this year looking fully healthy. So, looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Hawks are 5.5-point favorites at home here in Game 1. We've got a total of 235.5. Toronto 24-17 against the spread on the road last year, 21-20 to the under on the road. Atlanta 18-23 against the spread at home last season, 27-14 to the over at home. Guys, I have very little idea on this game at all. We haven't seen these two teams in this iteration play at all, so we don't really know what to expect here. In a very, very small lean here, I will take the Hawks -5.5 just because they've got more experience and I think a little bit more talent. But this is the smallest of small leans. I will not be involved in this game in any way. I'm very excited to watch it, though, and see what we get from these two teams. Rolling along here, guys, we've got the Philadelphia 76ers going on the road to take on the Boston Celtics. The 76ers played it close to the chest this offseason, and things have been weird. They ended up going 1-3 in the preseason. And the weird thing is, if you would ask me at the end of last year if we would see Joel Embiid ready to go for Game 1 this season, I would have said you were nuts. Well, apparently he is ready to go, and he looked really, really good in, albeit some very limited preseason action. But you had to like what you saw from him there on, back on Friday. Apparently, he's going to be good to go here. I don't know how long they're going to be playing him, like how many minutes per game they're going to allow him to play and stuff like that as they try and safeguard that knee. But yeah, apparently he's good to go. And when what we saw from him in the preseason, he looked amazing. So we'll see what we actually get from Joel Embiid here. Going to be pretty interesting. Tyrese Maxey ready to go. VJ Edgecombe looking really, really good there in offseason workouts. Jared McCain out, so that's unfortunate. Kelly Oubre Jr. there still in the starting lineup. Paul George out. That knee issue, he's officially out for this game. We'll see when he comes back, but yeah, pretty annoying there for the 76ers to have Embiid back, but now Paul George goes down. Jared McCain still not ready to be coming back. Quentin Grimes going to be a huge piece off the bench for this team, so we'll see how things go. This is a very, very interesting squad. Now, they're going to be going on the road to take on the Boston Celtics, who went 3-1 in the preseason and are going to be one of the weirdest teams out there for sure. This Celtics squad with no Tatum, at least for now, he's trying to make some sort of insane early comeback from that Achilles. We'll see if that actually happens. This is going to be the Derek White, Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown show, with Peyton Pritchard still going to be coming off the bench, it looks like. Now, Jaylen Brown does come into this game banged up, dealing with a hamstring issue for Game 1 of the season. Does not seem great. Officially questionable for this game. He has been practicing the last 2 days, but he may not actually end up playing in this one. We'll see what the Celtics are actually trying to do this season. I don't think this is going to be a real indication because you don't want to mess around with a hamstring issue, but it would make all the sense, or some sense at least, for the Celtics to tank this season out. But with Tatum so determined to come back, I don't know, guys. We're going to see. This team's going to shoot a crazy amount of threes in every single game, and playing at home maybe that is enough to get them over the top. We will have to wait and see. Now, looking at the numbers, the Celtics are 2.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 228 in this game. The 76ers against the spread were terrible last year on the road, but that doesn't really take into account all the injuries. They were a big over team on the road. Boston 21-26 against the spread at home, but they were constantly like double-digit favorites, so everything completely different in terms of the trends for these two teams. So in general, this is another game that I'm going to be staying away from because we just have very little information. Like, how much is Embiid going to play? We don't really know. Is Jaylen Brown even going to play at all? We don't really know. What are the Celtics going to look like here? Very little idea. So on the side, I'm pretty uninterested in this game. On the total, I'm very interested in over 228 in this spot. I think we're going to see tons of offense out there from both sides. The Celtics, like we were saying, are going to shoot a crazy amount of threes. Maxey, Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre Jr., these are all dudes that can score it. Joel Embiid, if he is out there for any amount of time, he's going to put up a bunch of points. So I definitely think over 228 is extremely live in this game, and it doesn't hurt that these two teams showed trends towards the over a season ago. Next on the docket, we've got the Detroit Pistons going on the road to take on the Chicago Bulls. The Pistons, a team that had a lot of success last year, ended up going 2-2 here in the preseason. Not the most insane offseason for this squad. Now, we do see them bring in Duncan Robinson. He's going to be their new featured shooter here. We'll see how that goes. Cade Cunningham poised for another big season. The dream is that Asar Thompson is going to ascend to the kind of level that his brother is at. I don't know if that's going to be a reality, but I do think he is physically capable of it, so we'll see if that can happen for these Detroit Pistons. Tobias Harris, a solid option there. Not flashy, but relatively solid, and Jalen Duren ready to go there at center. A big deal. This team also has some pretty interesting depth. Now, they are dealing with some injuries. Marcus Sasser and Karis LeVert both on the injury report. Apparently, Marcus Sasser there is doubtful for this game due to a right hip impingement. So, yeah, sounds like it's very unlikely that he's going to actually be out there for this one. Karis LeVert with a knee issue, he's probable. I think it would be pretty shocking if he didn't end up lacing them up for this game. But the Pistons going to be a very intriguing squad. Exciting to see what Duncan Robinson can do on a different team. Cade Cunningham poised for another massive season. We'll see. I do wish there was a little bit better group around him. Obviously, Jaden Ivey being out is not great. That arthroscopic procedure on his right knee. Yeah, going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks, and that's about 3.5 weeks ago. So, yeah, it's going to be a while till we see Jaden Ivey back out there. But some decent news for the Pistons coming into this year. Now, the Bulls, they come into this season. They just went 3-2 in the preseason. And it's kind of hard to figure out what the Bulls are trying to do. They signed Josh Giddey to a pretty big contract, and he looked good last year, and this team played really well at the very end of the season a year ago. So congrats on that. We'll see what Giddey can do. He needs to be the floor general, needs to lead this team, and it would be awfully nice for the Bulls if he could learn how to shoot a three. Kobe White looks like he is going to be out for this game with that calf issue. Yeah, going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, and with a calf issue, I would reevaluate him in 4 weeks because that has torn Achilles written all over it. Isaac Okoro going to be looked to have a hopefully big season for the Bulls. Buzelis, that's going to be the real make or break guy for this roster. We'll see what he can look like. Obviously, we've seen flashes of him looking amazing. He's still very young. I mean, the kid is just now turning 21 years old. So we'll see what he looks like. Obviously, he looked excellent in the preseason. See what he looks like here now that the regular season's going. Vujacic there is a solid veteran option there at center, and this team actually has a pretty solid bench. Zach Collins is out for this game, but when you've got a bench of Trey Jones, Ayo Dosunmu, Kevin Huerter, and Patrick Williams, like, you don't have a terrible bench. So I do actually like the bench here for the Chicago Bulls a good amount, more than I like the Pistons bench. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Bulls are getting 4 points at home. We've got a total of 233.5. Detroit 25-17-2 against the spread on the road last year, 22-20-2 to the over on the road. The Bulls 21-20-1 against the spread at home, 22-19-1 to the under at home. While I don't think it's great that Kobe White is out for this game, I think Dosunmu moving into the starting lineup, or even Kevin Huerter moving into the starting lineup, is not a bad thing. I like Buzelis out there a lot. I like Vujacic even in this matchup. I do feel like the Pistons are a little bit shallow this year and have some new pieces to get used to, so I'm actually going to be siding with the Chicago Bulls here, getting 4 points in this game, and I like it enough that it's going on the list as a potential dog of the day. Rolling along here, guys, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans going on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. This is another very interesting one. Now, in the only 2 games the Pelicans played against actual NBA teams here in the preseason, they lost both of them, but like I said, we're not going to get too wrapped up in that. The Pelicans are a very interesting, very exciting team coming into this year. We've got skinny Zion Williamson, so that'll be pretty interesting to see what he can actually do out there, if he can stay healthy, all that kind of good stuff. That could be a big deal for this team, obviously. Also, we got Jordan Poole now, a New Orleans Pelican. Somebody that is very capable of being a great... He actually played pretty solidly in Washington last year for a tanking team, and we've seen what he could do, the kind of talent that he put on show there for the Warriors. Monster stuff there. Trey Murphy III, a great shooting guard option. Herbert Jones, big deal as well. The center position maybe gets a little bit muddy there. Kevon Looney actually going to be out to start the year. He was a big acquisition, but he's going to miss 2 to 3 weeks with a proximal tiofibular ligament sprain in his left knee. So we'll see how long that keeps him out, but that's not great. They were definitely looking forward to having him out there. But Jeremiah Fears, a solid backup point guard, Sadiq Bey in there, Derek Queen in there. So yeah, definitely a squad with some very interesting options. Jose Alvarado going to be getting some crazy pants minutes at times, or not crazy pants minutes, but time for him to go in there and go crazy pants. So we'll see how things look for the Pelicans as they go on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Now the Grizzlies come into the season only 1-1 lost for there in the preseason. A lot of weirdness going on for them here in the offseason. Also injury concerns, but some of those injury concerns have gone away. Now, obviously not having Scottie Pippen Jr. To start the year, not having Ty Jerome to start the year, that is obviously not great for this team, but there's some positives. We'll see. Scottie Pippen Jr. going to be reevaluated in about 12 weeks. So that's a long time. Ty Jerome with that calf issue going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So going to be missing a couple pretty important pieces, but they've got Ja Morant ready to go. They've got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope ready to go. Jalen Wells ready to go, and Jaren Jackson Jr. ready to go. Now, Zach Edey being out, that is a big problem for this team. Him not being ready to go sucks because that's going to mean more minutes at center there for Jaren Jackson Jr., not his ideal position. Santi Aldama will get more minutes, but that is not a bad thing. Santi Aldama, a very solid shooter, a very solid option. Jock Landale getting a bunch of extra minutes, though, that is not good news. There's some interesting pieces on this team. I actually like Cam Spencer a decent amount. I like G.G. Jackson a decent amount. John Conchar even. So there's some pieces on this team that should get some run, and with Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. healthy, this team is usually, historically, when those two are playing, pretty damn good. So, looking at the numbers here, guys, the Grizzlies are 4.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 237.5. The Pelicans, 12-29 against the spread on the road last year as a tanking team with no Zion. Yikes. They were a significant over team on the road. Memphis, 23-21 against the spread at home last season, 23-21 to the over at home as well. Not going to be taking those into consideration. These teams look completely differently. Now, I'm going to be leaning a bit towards the Grizzlies here at -4.5 playing at home. I do think the Ja poised for a big night. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. poised for a big night. And while I do think this Pelicans team might be able to figure things out here, are they going to figure things out right out of the gate? Seems like a big ask. Now, this is not a huge lean. This is a small lean. And also keep in mind, this is the very beginning of the season. We have very little data. So let's all make sure we're not busting our bankroll here on the second day of the NBA season. Rolling along here, guys, we've got the Washington Wizards going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Wizards only played 3 preseason games. They went 1 win, 2 losses there, and they come into this year poised for another tanking season. If you couldn't name hardly anybody on this starting lineup, that would not be that shocking, although there are a couple dudes that are very likely to get traded away and could help contenders. We've got CJ McCollum there stuck on the Warriors. That's got to feel pretty bleak. Chris Middleton stuck on the Warriors as well. Alex Sarr, a piece I'm sure they want to hold on to, but you never know what this team is going to do, guys. We've got people on here trying to get minutes. We got Marvin Bagley III still in the NBA trying to get some minutes in here. Trey Johnson, Corey Kispert, actually a very solid piece. Kim Whitmore, another solid piece. So there's some pieces on this team, but this squad is not in any way, shape, or form built to be competitive this season. Guys like McCollum and Middleton are going to get shipped out, and they're going to just try and make the team as bad as they can and try and get a high draft pick. So we'll see what they can do here. Going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Bucks, a team that is definitely determined to be doing the opposite. Although they made some pretty questionable late off-season additions to their roster, and they were all named the same thing. They went 3-1 in the preseason. Obviously, the whole goal of this year for the Bucks is to convince Giannis they've got a good enough group to contend. Also, putting both of his little brothers on the team probably doesn't hurt too much. Kevin Porter Jr. going to be asked to do a lot and to kind of run the offense here. We'll see if he's capable of doing anything except for trying to go on insane scoring outbursts. I actually think the better point guard option for this squad might be Cole Anthony. We're going to see him in there a lot. I think that's going to be a big deal. Gary Trent Jr., a solid shooter, a solid veteran. Kyle Kuzma coming off a nightmare season last year. He was absolutely worthless, absolutely terrible last season. I don't think he's actually that bad. Maybe he's poised for a bounce back. Giannis, I think this could be an MVP campaign kind of season for Giannis if the team is good enough. Miles Turner, a huge addition for this team. A stretch big that's better than the stretch big that left. I think that could be a big deal for them. This is also a squad with a very solid bench. Cole Anthony or Kevin Porter Jr., one of those guys is going to be leading the bench unit. Both very solid and capable. That AJ Green just signed an extension. A lights-out shooter that plays some better than anticipated defense. Taurean Prince, a veteran. Bobby Portis, a monster there defensively. And Jericho Sims coming off the bench there at center as well. A very solid squad. So looking at the numbers, guys, I'm not shocked to see the Bucks as big favorites, but 9.5 seems like a lot. We got a total of 227.5. Washington, they were 17-22 and 2 against the spread on the road, 22-19 to the under on the road. Milwaukee was 23-19 and 1 against the spread at home, 25-18 to the over at home. I'm not too interested in the total in this game. I will be leaning towards the Bucks here at -9.5. I think Giannis is going to go bonkers out there. I think we'll see a monster game from Miles Turner. Kevin Porter Jr. going to come into this season with a chip on his shoulder. So I definitely think Milwaukee has what it takes to come out here and absolutely roll in the first game of the regular season, going up against one of the worst teams in the NBA. Speaking of tanking teams, guys, we got another matchup between a tanker and a competitor. The competitor in this matchup is the Los Angeles Clippers. They just went 2-1 or 3-1, depending on what games you're going to count in the preseason. The big news for the Clippers in the offseason has been the whole scandal surrounding Kawhi Leonard possibly getting paid under the table. So we'll see how that all shakes out, but I don't think it matters too much. I don't think Kawhi or really this veteran group is going to be too shook by any of that news. And the Clippers went out and made some very interesting acquisitions. We've got James Harden leading the way. They're the star of the starting five. We'll see what he can do out there. Obviously a veteran at this point, poised for another big season. Bradley Beal now in the mix. Can he stay healthy? Can he be productive? He's in LA. Maybe that's where he wanted to be the whole time. Maybe this is all going to work out now. We will have to wait and see. I'm not going to be celebrating Bradley Beal until I see an awfully big sample size of him being healthy and productive at the same time. Kawhi in the mix. I think he's going to be absolutely fine out there. I don't think he's worried about any of this, and he's going to be a monster as always as long as he's healthy, and he is healthy here to start the season. Bring in John Collins, someone who I always have felt like deserved a lot more credit for being a very solid starting level NBA player than he gets. A monster out there on both ends of the court. I think it's a great addition here for the Clippers. And Zubac, quietly one of the best centers in the NBA. Now, he's not going to go out there and shoot threes, but he's going to do everything else you would expect a classic big man to do, and he's going to do it awfully well. They also brought in Chris Paul, a solid veteran backup point guard. How many minutes can you get from him? How many games can he play? We'll have to wait and see, but I do think it's a good addition to the team. Bogdan Bogdanovic, they need more from him than what we've seen from him over the last couple years of his career. He was looking pretty good in some offseason workout videos. We'll see if that helps coming into the year. And Brook Lopez as a solid backup center. So this squad looking poised for a big season. They're going to take on a team that's poised for a big season of losing. They're taking on the Utah Jazz. They finished the preseason 1-3. They're going to be a weird team all year long. I think they're going to be big sellers. Bring in Ace Bailey, who looked fantastic in the preseason, but he's already on the injury report. We don't have any clarity really if he's going to play. He's questionable for this game with an illness. Sounds like dealing with the flu. He could end up missing this one. We'll see. We'll see what ends up with happening with Ace Bailey in this one. Isaiah Collier, their starting point guard, also he's officially going to be out for this game. A strained right hamstring. He's not even going to be reevaluated here for a week. Niang still out for this game, so it looks like it's going to be Keontae George, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler. Both of those guys, major trade assets. We're also going to see Nurkic out there. We're going to see Kyle Filipowski, who had a pretty decent season last year. Walton Clayton Jr. is going to get a bunch of run, I would expect, and he has looked really good in the preseason. So lots of interesting young players on this team. Are they on this team to win games? Seems unlikely to me. But right out of the gates, Game 1 of the NBA season, they're getting 10.5 points at home. We've got a total of 227 in this one. Despite being a tanking team last year, Utah was 20-21-1 against the spread at home. The Clippers, 21-24 against the spread on the road last season. I mean, it doesn't feel amazing, but I'll lean towards the Jazz here, getting 10.5. Probably not going to make the pinned comment, but I do think it's a better value than taking the Clippers, although I could see a reality where the Clippers just come into this one and roll. Next on the docket, guys, we got our other nationally televised game of the night. We got the San Antonio Spurs going on the road to take on the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Spurs had a great preseason, going 4-0 or 5-0, depending on how you want to write it up. And they're a very deep, very interesting, very young team. Now, the bad news is De'Aaron Fox won't be healthy to start the season, but I'm not too worried about that. Stephen Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, all guys that can handle the ball a little bit. Dylan Harper coming in. Going to be very exciting to see what he can do here in the early goings. Jordan McLaurin, a monster, potentially. We'll see how that goes. Keldon Johnson is going to get some minutes as well. Jeremy Sohan also won't be ready for the regular season starter. Kelly Olynyk still out, but Victor Wembanyama potentially could be moving towards being the best player in the NBA a step closer this season. I would not be shocked by that. A very non-traditional offseason, obviously having to get over that whole blood clot situation, but I mean, he has looked just insane here in the preseason. He's healthy coming into this year. I'm expecting massive, massive stuff from Wembanyama on both ends of the court, hopefully, but for sure on the defensive end. So we'll see what the Spurs can do going on the road here to take on the Dallas Mavericks, who went 3-1 in the offseason, are one of the most exciting teams in the NBA because of the addition of Cooper Flagg. Now, the Mavs also brought in D'Angelo Russell, a solid point guard option to, hold the spot until we eventually see Kyrie Irving come back, whenever that happens to be. Klay Thompson looking like a monster in the offseason. I watched an awful lot of tape on Klay here in the offseason, and he looks like he's completely reworked his body. He looks skinny, healthy, ready to go. I haven't seen Klay look like this since the early years there for the Warriors. He's shooting the heck out of the ball. I'm expecting very good stuff from Klay Thompson on this team. Cooper Flagg has obviously looked amazing. I'm sure every single one of us has seen tons of tape there on Cooper Flagg. I'm expecting a big year from him, even right out of the gate. Definitely deserves all the Rookie of the Year hype. Anthony Davis. He's going to be asked to do an awful lot on this team in the early goings. Is he capable of that? I think he is. Can he stay healthy? We'll have to see. How's that jump shot going to look? That is always a little bit up in the air. Derek Lively, listed to be the starting center here. Definitely awesome to have him, and Daniel Gafford potentially. But Gafford is on the injury report here with an ankle issue and is officially doubtful to play in this one. So he probably won't be out there. PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Max Christie, Brandon Williams. Plenty of good bench options for this team. I think we'll see Caleb Martin get some time as well. This is going to be a very, very solid squad. And if they were healthy, like if they had Kyrie for this, holy cow, would this team look insane. So we'll see what they can do here in game one. They're 2.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 226.5. The Spurs, 18-23 against spread on the road last year, 22-19 to the over on the road. Dallas, a 500 against spread team at home, 22-18 to the under at home. None of those trends really matter in this spot, though. Guys, this is a difficult one to pick a side on. I am going to lean just slightly towards the home team here at -2.5, but it's a minuscule lean. I don't have a big lean here on the total, but I do have some player props that I think are excellent for this game. First up, I'll take Harrison Barnes here over 3.5 rebounds at +119. Barnes has been over this number in 5 straight road games, and while I know there are monsters down there like Wemby and Anthony Davis who figured to get a lot of boards, I think there will be plenty of long rebound opportunities here for the savvy veteran, and I expect him to play a lot of minutes and to be a stabling influence here for this young Spurs team. I also, like I was just talking about, love Klay Thompson in this spot. I'll take him over 2.5 made threes at -118. This could end up going in the pinned comment. I fully expect a huge bounce back season from Klay. A bit of a tough season last year, but has been looking amazing in the preseason and in offseason workouts. I think here in his second year in Dallas, we're going to see an excellent showing from Klay, and getting to 3 threes here in game 1 of the season playing at home seems very reasonable. He's made 3 or more threes in 11 of his last 14 home games. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings going on the road to take on the Phoenix Suns. The Kings had a weird offseason. They finished the preseason 1-3, and this roster doesn't exactly make a ton of sense to me. We'll see how it goes. They just recently added Russell Westbrook, so at least an energy guy coming off the bench could be a big deal. Malik Monk is somebody they were shopping. I have no idea why you wouldn't want to keep that guy. I have no idea why the Warriors didn't want him. Sabonis is going to be out here to start the season, so that has to be a pretty big concern. A hamstring issue for their best player. Going to be reevaluated in a week. We'll see how that goes. Got Zach LaVine still, got DeMar DeRozan still. What does this all add up to without much of a bench outside of Westbrook and Monk? I don't know, guys. This is just a weird, just entirely super weird team. So I'm not sure what they were thinking in the offseason. The Suns, maybe what they did in the offseason makes more sense. They did go 3-1 in the preseason. They look like an interesting team. Now, Jalen Green is going to be out here to start the year. He's aggravated that hamstring issue when they were in China. He is close to being reevaluated, but he won't be playing here in Game 1. Devin Booker, going to be asked to do an awful lot here. Ryan Dunn, we'll see how that looks. Dylan Brooks, a big addition for this team, going to give them a defensive identity. Mark Williams, a solid center option for sure. But yeah, other than that, guys, I mean, how stoked are we about Royce O'Neal and Colin Gillespie coming off the bench? I mean, Grayson Allen's a very good bench player, but he's listed as probable for this game with a hip issue. So apparently he's going to play, but I'm a little bit worried about the depth for this team and about Devin Booker potentially getting triple teamed for this squad. So look at the numbers here, guys. The Suns are 4-point favorites. We've got a total of 228.5. Sacramento 20-20 and 1 against spread on the road last year, 22-19 to the under on the road. The Suns 15-25 and 1 against spread at home, 23-18 to the under at home. I don't have massive leans on this game. I'll be completely honest here, guys. I'm going to probably just go ahead and take the Sacramento Kings. They're the more healthy team coming into this game and have more energy guys. They're going to more refuse to lose. So the more I think about it, the more the Kings getting 4 points does make an awful lot of sense in this spot. We'll see. Maybe I'm banking too much on Westbrook and Malik Monk coming out here with something to prove. In the last game of the day, and unfortunately one that I'm very, very interested in watching, or at least unfortunate for my sleep schedule, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves going on the road to take on the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, the Timberwolves had a pretty busy preseason. They were in China. They ended up playing 6 total games and going 2-4 in the preseason. But this is a pretty veteran group at this point, or maybe not veteran, but very well-defined group. And they come into this season with sky-high expectations. You got Anthony Edwards on your team. Those expectations are going to be awfully high. Now, he does come into Game 1 of the regular season questionable with a back issue. Not a problem you want to see your young superstar having. I'm going to be honest. I'll be very, very shocked unless there's some weird flare up here for his back, but I'll be very, very shocked to see Anthony Edwards sit out Game 1 of the regular season. I'm sure he is jonesing to get out there and get going. Mike Conley's still the starting point guard for this team. I think that is a bit of a concern for them heading into this season. How much does Mike Conley at his age have still in the tank? Jaden McDaniels, one of the best defenders and longest, just rangy, great perimeter defenders in the league. Julius Randle, what's he going to look like here coming into the season? We'll see. Usually pretty reliable, but definitely somebody who can shoot you out of a game every once in a while. Rudy Gobert there at center. You know what Rudy Gobert is going to do. He's going to get a bunch of rebounds. He's not going to score any points usually, and he's going to look just completely lost every time somebody throws in the ball there offensively. Now, the bench unit actually is very intriguing to me. We've got Dante DiVincenzo, a very solid bench guy. Terrence Shannon Jr., another solid bench guy that can really do some scoring coming off the pine. And Naz Reid, who's looking for a little bit maybe of a bounce back season after he didn't feel like he lived up to expectations to me there in the offseason. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on the Portland Trail Blazers, a very intriguing young team coming into this year. Now, they went 1-3 in the preseason. They've got some interesting pieces now. Scoot's going to be out to start the year. That's not ideal. But Jrue Holiday there at starting point guard. Shadian Sharp, a big-time piece. Danny Adjiva, like that dude is a monster. I'm very excited to see what he can do. Tumani Kamara, he's an interesting piece as well. Donovan Clingan looked amazing at times last year. I'm expecting big stuff from him this season. We got Matisse Thybulle coming off the bench. We'll see if he has learned how to score the basketball. Jeremy Grant, now officially a bench guy, a drastically overpaid bench guy. So we'll see what he can do this year. And Yang Hansen, we'll see what he can do. I'm very excited to see what he can do this season. A very exciting dude to watch there in the preseason. So a lot of extremely interesting pieces for this team. Also, not coming back this year, but Dame coming back next year. Like, the Portland Trail Blazers is going to be a very, very wild team to watch. So, looking at the numbers here, guys, the Blazers are getting 4 points at home. We've got a total of 220.5. Minnesota, 25-24 against the spread on the road last year, 27-22 to the under on the road. Portland, 24-17 against the spread at home last season, 21-18-2 to the over at home. Guys, we're going to have to wait on this game, mostly, because we have to know, obviously, if Anthony Edwards is playing in this one. In terms of, like, the total for this game, I mean, I would maybe lean towards the over. I do think over 220.5 could be live here, but this game is mostly going to be a wait-and-see spot until we know who's actually going to suit up. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. I know it's a very long video. I appreciate you sticking with me, and do me a big favor, hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's massive slate. I'll do my absolute best to get back to you. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description to get over to stumpthespread.com. Check out those red hot, maybe like 1 degree less hot after a bad day yesterday, premium picks that are coming off just an amazing stretch, especially those NHL picks. Definitely want to get in on that. Get all the free stuff over there as well, the free picks, the free email newsletter, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.